Oh my gosh. Hello, friends. Welcome back to another Couch Cat stream. I'm Pies, and this is Crazy Fi. We have a special guest that we're not going to say who it is yet. And luckily for us, they didn't name themselves correctly. So who knows? Who knows? But this is our weekly SimpleMMO stream. We do it twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. US Eastern Standard Time. And tonight, we're not stepping. Tonight, we're doing a very casual interview with one of the most popular players of all, even more popular than Ubi. Don't fact check me on that, but it's Kin. I'm not saying the full name Kin because I don't want to get demonetized. So Kin, welcome to the stream. Hello, how are you tonight?
Hello, hey. If I said my name out loud, would you be demonetized? I don't think you would be, right?
No, we don't have sponsors.
No, please, by all means.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm curious, actually. How do you guys read it in your head, or how do you think it's said out loud?
Kynkeh?
Kynkeh, yeah. Perfect.
Okay. It's like great. One of the one names that seems like it'd be easy.
Like a Kynkeh or like Kynkeh. I like the S sound more, just like a meh.
Was the play on the word intentional?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
what word do you think it's referring to?
Yeah. Okay, that answers my question, chat. Chat, can we get a very sus, please? This is very sus. But yeah. Yeah, so welcome to the stream. Glad you decided to come on. Chat, before we get into tonight, just for your reference, we'll be discussing Kin's journey in SimpleMMO from start to present. We're going over 2 awards. He's a very decorated player. Best rookie player of SimpleMMO 2021, which is the community event we all were hyping up last year, and this year hopefully it goes on again. And then 2022, Kin won the best gear / showcase slot for 2022. So we'll be covering that in the back end. But first, I want to say hi to chat, and we got a lot of sus. So Kin, you're on the sus list. It's good to see regulars. It's good to see friends. It's good to see Ubi. YouTube mod shout out. Can't believe you're here. It's super late for you. King Cows is here, causing trouble, stealing our subs, but that's fine. We'll get him back. T.O. is here. Good shout out. Duck Trevor's here. Maddie Loves Jokes is here. Cutie's here. Another YouTube mod shout out. We have Dark here. It was good to see Dark Chan. That's a real name. They just haven't fixed it yet. Nalri's here. Axis is here. We have a lot of homies here. And Axis was the first one, 6:20 p.m. So good to see that with the illusion right behind there. And Dagon, we saw you, by the way, simping for King Cow. So we're not going to forget that. And James is here. What's up, James? And everyone else. Anyway, Crazyfy, how are you tonight?
Yes. I am doing great. I had a great day.
Same thing.
Weather's so bad that I got a telework for today, so I was able to knock out a bunch of Couch Cat related content, which was great. Work, don't look at this. Yeah, I mean, tomorrow's another telework day, so while I'm working, I could knock out more Couch Cat content. So,
and I'm in editing hell because Crazyfy decided for the first time.
The backlog is immense.
Yeah, usually it's like pulling like, can you record something? Can you help me? Now he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. Oh, crafting just got announced. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this. I'm like, motherfucker. So here we are, full of content. And that's another thing I want to address real quick. Crafting, we all gotta look into crafting. I haven't seen it yet. Luckily, Crazyfy just dropped a blog post tonight that summarizes it was a thick ass blog post by Mike. So kudos to him. But we have a shorter version on our website, couchcatpod.com. I'm gonna read that later. We're gonna be discussing crafting in another stream. We already have content built out around it, thanks to Crazyfy. So look forward to that. And just, I know chat is really wondering, because Crazyfy is never wondering. I'm doing fine tonight. I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here because Kin seems cool already. Kin, how are you tonight?
I'm doing well. I had a little mini nap before I hopped on this stream, and I want to say thanks again for having me. I did tell you that I wasn't working today. That's why today would work. But I actually got called into work, so I'll be working graveyard a bit later. But it'll be okay.
Yeah, you can ride on the high of being a guest tonight. You can go,
yeah,
you can go and be like, nothing could ruin my life anymore. Like I hit rock bottom. I was a guest. nothing can go below that.
We can only go up from here. Yeah.
Yeah, we can only go up from here. Okay, so like I touched on earlier, we want to talk about your journey as a player in SimpleMMO. And we asked this. Crazyfy is going to ask you a question too at the very end. He always does about certain. You know how you always say, Crazyfy, like, is there something you could take away or add to the game, whatever?
Okay. I was like,
yeah, that's coming after.
Crap, you're setting me up for failure right here.
Yeah. He didn't actually know.
Yeah.
But that's I say that now so you can think about it while we have some downtime. But I'm always interested. What brought you to SimpleMMO? Like, how did you discover it?
Oh well, I guess I've told this story a few times and people seem to like it.
Okay.
I initially, before SimpleMMO, I was big into a game called Black Desert Online, another very popular MMO, very grindy.
And, big bucks.
Yeah, big bucks, you could say. After some time, I was just fed up. My hands were absolutely destroyed, and I could not keep it up any longer. The requirements to stay in a top sort of guild was just becoming too much with everything else I had going on. So I dropped it. Fast forward randomly a few months. I can't really tell you exactly how I found the game. I woke up one morning and it was on my phone. So I assumed that the night before I had been drinking a bit. And I did that thing where, I'm bored, I go on the Play Store app, I find something, I play it for a bit. And I won't lie, for the first 2 weeks, I was just like opening it up whenever, and it was just to pass time whenever I had nothing else to do. And I was actually pretty close to quitting, but I made it to level 500. A person by the name of Sin swooped me up into Blackwater, and that's when I found a community, and I guess that's when I started to really get into the game.
Okay, so Blackwater was your first guild?
That is correct.
And you said Sin swooped you up. Was he a leader? Was he the leader of Blackwater at that time?
Yes. At the time, I heard that Sin had actually just been coming back. The story, as I heard, was he was previously Blackwater's leader. He went away for some time. I don't know the exact details, but he came back, and he was just recruiting noobs, because that's his thing. And he just so happened to recruit me, a noob at the time.
The most vulnerable player base.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't. It's okay.
I mean,
dude.
I think what he does is cool. Like,
Yeah.
if you care for this game and you really want the community to grow, you have to like interact with the noobs. And Sen, he did just that. So I really do owe it to him and just like the community, I want to say, for being around, still playing this game.
Yeah. So, going back to Blackwater, what was your, as a new player, freshly off the streets, what was your experience with the guild? Were you, pulled to be more active? Were you in their Discord if they had one? Like, how did it make you more invested into the game?
Well, for me, my initial guild I was actually in, it was not Blackwater, it was Fallen Angels Academy. But
no.
Okay.
Keep covering your ears.
I was there. I was, I saw that there was a guild chat, but it was pretty dead. Eventually, I hit 500, which I heard was a requirement to be moved into the main Fallen Angels Academy, or Fallen Angels Guild. That came by, nothing really happened, and I was like, no one's really hitting me up. And that's when I was like about to quit the game. But then Sin was like, hey, congrats on 500, noob, trying to join Blackwater. And then I was like, sure, this guild's dead anyway, so. To better answer your question about the Discord stuff and relating to it, so that yes, that was my first time joining a SMO related Discord. I wasn't actually in the main SMO Discord at that point.
Okay.
And the very first time I joined, there was actually already a voice chat going on, and a lot of people call me out on this, but I actually am very shy and they don't believe it. But somehow that night I just decided to hop in. I was muted for a bit, and I loosened up and just started chatting with them, and yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. It's always nice to be able to find that community and be able to integrate and just, it not be an effort or anything. You just seamlessly integrate into it.
Yeah, it was really it was heartwarming. I think for me, I say this, it sounds weird and cheesy, but when I joined, we were still kind of like mid-COVID stuff, so things socially just had been different. I feel like I was kind of a recluse for a long time. I was just kind of fed up with everything. So I was really surprised that I opened up and decided to take a chance on interacting, making connections, and I'm really thankful for it.
That's good. And were you using global chat at all at this point? Because I know a lot of players are like, they didn't discover global chat to like well over 1,000.
Yeah, I knew of global chat. Lurking is my favorite thing, and that was me from the get-go. But after I got into Blackwater, I started making myself a bit more known.
Okay.
And, I don't know if you guys were around at the time. I know players that might have been around when I was first started might remember this. I did this thing where I just always referred to myself in the third person. Just because I thought it was a cool gimmick. I saw no one else is doing it, and people seemed to not be weirded out too much, or didn't say. I did eventually get tired of typing kin in versus me or I every time, so I just kind of like killed it, and then
Were you leaving profile comments like that?
I've never been one to leave too many profile comments, so no, I don't think there's any existing like profile comments where I'm referring to myself in the third person.
Let me check mine real quick. So you gave me one.
Oh man,
I had to confirm this.
I did not refer to myself in the third person there, and I think my whole comment was just a disaster because
it was.
Yeah.
Hugs and kisses from your biggest girl Pokemon trainer, Ubu. Okay, the order got worse. There, I give up. Biggest Pokemon girl. Okay, you're trying to fix your That was hilarious. That was in reference to a joke I made on stream.
Yeah, that was after the profile roast, which I
No,
it wasn't the profile roast. I think you were talking about me as a Pokemon girl trainer.
Yeah. Okay, so you're in Blackwater. You're starting to get more comfortable in interacting in the game. You're starting to engage more in the community. Was it at that point that you got the itch to grind, or what happened between Blackwater and the grind, like to make you want to chase it?
So when I very first started, actually, I've always been a fan of anything mining related in any games. That is just like my thing. And my whole character lore was, to summarize it, I was a slime who was just kind of pacifist, and I loved mining. So I was always stepping in Eldom as a low spending, free to play-ish stepper in Eldom. And my first goal was to beat Amberjack in mining level leaderboards. And then one day I was hanging out with Sin, and he was just doing his battle arena, and I was like, wow, that looks really relaxing. And then he was like, yeah, if you slap up your EP to 100 or 200 or refills like this cheap, and you can just go all day and level up. And I was like, I guess I can try that. So I upped up my EP, got my first taste of blood, meaning just like my first continuous hour of doing battle arena. And I've just been hooked on that feeling since.
An hour-long session of battle arena hooked you. It made you in the monster you are today.
And my reasoning for this is at heart I really am a fan of like grinding out games, and like a lot of people, seeing numbers go up is great. But what I found especially like appealing about it is how easy it is because of the nature of the game, SimpleMMO. And when I initially started doing it, whenever I did it, I would be either in a voice chat hanging out with people. If not, I would have a stream on the side open or some music. So it was just very therapeutic for me. And initially it was all about like, I'll try to get up on the leaderboards. And I told everyone once I got to number 1, I would probably chill. But that didn't happen. The burnout never came. My love for Mortem and Battle Arena never died. And
I mean, that's wild. Props to you. Like, because I get burnt out if I go like a week straight of just like trying to grind to the next level, and then that's wild.
Yeah, were you PvPing at this time, or was it you were strictly doing your slime roleplay and then BA happened?
No, I was not very big on PvP. I think at level 5,000, I tried it, and then I believe Soul and Bomb slapped me. and I was like, I don't like that very much. And then I dipped back into safe mode, and I actually didn't start PvP until I was in Death Star, and I think I was around level 100 something K by then, so it was kind of a good entry point for PvP.
So you were a Death Star alumni?
Yes, for a short period of time. Not so short, I guess it was around 3 months. I was a member of Death Star, and I started PvP because Darth Taylor asked me to.
Alan, you're okay. He's back.
Oh. Yeah, don't worry. My dogs.
Okay, so before we get into the Death Star, then what made you leave how'd you get from Blackwater to Death Star?
This one's a bit different or weird, but I think I can talk about it
Sin
now.
like cheated on you?
I think at the time, once I started really getting into grinding Battle Arena, I guess part of me was like, I kind of want to be in a like-minded guild of competition. It was around a bit after the time of the guild update where guild leaderboards were reset. Blackwater, yeah, for a little bit, for a very small amount of time, Blackwater was #1, and then Death Star was actually just, they were apparently taking a break because they had gone on a crazy PvP spree, I heard, for the month before to get #1 on Legacy leaderboard.
Yep.
And then I just felt that Blackwater wasn't quite what I was looking for. There were a lot more casual people, and then I felt like Sin wasn't at the time leading as much. So I felt like it'd be better for me to hop into a bit more active guild, which so happened to be Death Star. And
okay,
yeah,
you leave behind Fallen Angel because they suck. You go to Blackwater. Sin lets you down, so you leave them behind because they suck. And now you're in Death Star. Now you're in Death Star, and you're like, I'm here to be serious. And Darth Taylor's like, PvP and Simp, and you're like, well, where else am I gonna go? And that's how your saga really begins. You know what I mean? That's like your season 2.
I feel like you might have worded it a bit differently than I might have.
I don't know.
That's the general gist.
Listen, chat, review the VOD, and you can see that I'm right. So Ken, so you're in Death Star.
Yeah.
And you said you're basically accelerated to 100K at that point to try PvP. What? So you're about 100K. That's a huge jump for your first. How much time do you think has passed in total up to the point of coming to Death Star?
I used to remember this pretty clearly. I want to say I joined Death Star June 3rd of 2021.
Okay.
Yeah. I was in Blackwater for 3 months roughly, and Death Star for 3 months roughly.
So in that time frame, that's when you begin to like feel comfortable. You want to drop some money into this game to explode for the power leveling.
I think that point came a lot earlier before Death Star, because once I got that taste of BA with 200 EP, I started to see like the numbers, and I thought about it. And then other people had mentioned, there's some people out here with 1,000 EP. Actually, my first and foremost main motivator when I started out as a small noob was Gravy, and I still hold him very dear to my heart, even though he doesn't play the game as much anymore.
He's gone.
I heard he had a 1K EP, and I was like, I'm gonna be like Gravy one day. So I slowly, over the course of a few months, bumped up my EP as sales dropped.
Nice.
Dude, that is freaking insane.
Wait, how much EP do you have now?
I currently have 1,337 energy points.
Nice. Okay.
Did it for the elite meme.
Yep.
Like you and Alucard are like the biggest monsters we've had on stream. So
I think I don't know if I could be compared to Alu. I want to say that Alu's I think he has 2K EP right now.
Yeah.
Like a whole 2 guilds /3, however many more they'll make.
Yeah.
So and you do this all strictly just what was your gameplay loop with Battle Arena? Were you running it and then refilling? Like what was your plan or strategy?
I guess just to get into a bit more about why I was so into it. At the time, I was working for a logistics company, which was very stressful for me. And again, the simplicity of the game made it so after a long day of work, I could just get home, chill for a bit, and then basically spend however much time I want before sleeping doing Battle Arena. So the loop is like go to work, chill, unwind, like de-stress with Battle Arena. And yeah, when you're doing it, you know, you just start up your Mortem's buff, you start hitting NPCs, Mortem buff goes down, and then you just do it again until you're tired.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
and for me,
yeah. Oh, go on. No, go on.
I guess I was just adding a little comment. I guess for me, the tired thing is a weird thing to apply because it wasn't a matter of me being tired. It's more of like I should probably stop now for the day and I'll do some more tomorrow.
And so you show up to Death Star, this freaking monster, and then that's when you unleash your PvP. So when DT tells you to PvP into you know bend the knees so to speak, was it fun for you, or you know what was your mindset at this point in the game?
I'll be quite honest with you guys. For me at the time, and I hope this isn't mean to say, Taylor has a very specific personality, and you know, will ask people to do things she wants. So she just casually brought it up. Hey, Ken, why don't you try some PvP? And I was like, I'm good. I'd rather spend my EP on Battle Arena because I'd rather beat up NPCs. And she's like, okay, that's okay. But it would really help us out if you did some PvP. So, yeah, I was like, okay, sure. And yeah, I would just do my normal routine, get my BA in, but then occasionally also do some PvP. And for a bit of time, yeah, I guess I could say I did get into it, but it does not bring me the same satisfaction as doing Battle Arena.
Why is that?
It's so funny.
I think it's just mean. I hate PvP.
Oh, okay.
It's awful.
King cows, alert.
Yeah.
I get that games like this need to have a PvP, and I think it's kind of drawn out to mention that things aren't exactly balanced in this game.
Yeah.
I know some people get a thrill from like slaying noobs and getting hateful comments and stuff like that, but I don't want to be out here like ruining someone's day because I need some guild XP. So I only really did it as a formality and to feel like a useful guild member, but I didn't really take much pride or enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. Like, as a PvP veteran, top of the leaderboards, nothing compares to grinding it out in PvE. I used to be the one who was like, yeah, screw Maple, screw all Fairy Tail, like all these easy peasy guilds that Crazy Fine I used to slap. And Kim Chur's my alt, who used to like single-handedly slap them. Yeah, there's something about PvE, like just the game loop with PvE, with like now that we have a more expansive task, like it's more fulfilling to do the steps, the quest, and then Battle Arena to like get those check off the box, get the diamonds. So, but it's really like crazy. If I was saying, it's so interesting to hear you say that, because majority of players, they PvP because that creates storylines in the game, specifically between guilds.
And yeah, I didn't mean to take away from the PvP aspect. I respect the PvPers, and I want to give Chaotic Serenity a shout out. I don't know if you guys saw yesterday, but he was going for a 24-hour record, and the Madman hit 50k player kills, and I was just salivating a little bit.
Yeah, he's a madman. He's here right now. I saw him in the chat earlier. Shout out to you, Chaotic.
Yeah, Chaotic's
absolutely
awesome.
Insane.
Yeah, and so you started PvP in Death Star. What was your, just to lightly touch on Death Star, what was your experience like overall as that guild, like especially leaving it behind? If you could just like explain, like if someone asked you like, how was Death Star, and we know it's freaking weird, okay? Like I was there.
Well, when you say that, I'm not big on like talking about gossipy sort of things. I'll just say when I left, it was kind of complicated, and I was actually a bit hurt about some of the stuff that happened. Okay. But I do want to mention that things were kind of cleared up. It didn't say explicitly that Taylor and I kind of didn't get along after that, but we did kind of reconcile. She actually reached out after the whole situation in Ukraine, and then I took a time to step back and I was like, this was so long ago. This is just a game. I'm not going to hold on to hurt feelings forever. So yeah, I just left because it wasn't for me. Some stuff inside the guild was stirring, and I'm not big on drama, and I just did not want to be around for it.
Yeah.
And then apparently I ended up going to the forest afterwards.
Very nice. So you just like to hang out the top guilds, don't you?
Dude, the only bottom feeder you've been in has been Fallen Angels and Blackwater.
Well, I didn't call them bottom feeder.
No.
Let the record show that Paizen is the one who's just blasting everyone today. He's out.
Check the VOD for me, please. Kim was definitely like, I was in a bottom feeder academy guild. Keepin was there. It sucked. I went to Blackwater. Just like that. Like, sound just like him. So now you're in forest. Drama's behind you. What level? Do you remember what level you were when you when you came to Forest's door as like a homeless man?
When I joined the forest, I recall I was around level 200 something thousand.
That's
holy shit.
Insane.
Yeah.
So like No Chan was like sweating. He was like, thank God. That party hungry little shout out to No Chan.
I think I guess you might ask, but the reason I ended up in the forest was I knew a lot of people from there already, and there were a few people who were saying, if you ever leave Death Star, you should join blah 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 guild. There were a few of those, but forest for me, not them being up there might be part of the reason, but it's not the main reason. And yeah, it was nice when I joined there. It was pretty happy. And I'm still very happy chilling in the forest.
Okay, and Cutie's in chat, and Cutie's telling me that you made the guild's top guilds because of your efforts. Is that true?
I will step in here and say, because I am obsessive about Battle Arena, there is an undeniable truth that PvP actually nets more experience or guild experience. So I do. As much as people like to say that, and I guess I'm being humble about it, I do want to say that the PvPers are the ones that really deserve more recognition. Like for me in the forest currently, I've barely done PvP in ages, and I've actually been kind of inactive with Battle Arena. So Eclipse and Tilphia are the two that are really have propelled the forest up there and keep it up there.
Okay.
Nice. So the force doesn't require you to do PvP, and you could just have your way with the BA.
Yeah, I've never been asked to, or never been kind of guilt tripped into doing PvP. Sometimes I think we had some close wars for like a bit when Tilphia still declared like big guilds, and then she'd be like, "Hey Ken, if you can, do you think you can hit some targets?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." But yeah, there's no requirements, no demands. It's just a very peaceful existence.
Well, if anyone ever tries to pressure you, our guild's a retirement guild, so you can always come over and do Battle Arena.
Yeah, we'll gladly accept you.
We have, Catkiss, also known as Cactus, but typoed. Very infamous player. He just joined Couch Cat, so it's like it only gets better. We've had Hadu in our guild at some point. We had Graven. Or I said Graven. Keevan. I heard you say Keevan. I was like, did I say Keevan? We've had a bunch of, Duck Trevor, who's just a maniac. We have a bunch of, interesting people come through our doors just to take a break, drink a mimosa. But that's interesting. Were you ever used? I mean, were you ever asked as a favor for Babel?
Well, at the time of Babel's conception, this was during my inactive period when my last job was getting to a stressful peak, and I actually ended up quitting that job because I was just fed up. I was done. It was no longer worth it, especially on my mental health. And when I came back, I saw, oh man, everyone left the forest, and the Babel is a thing now. And part of me did kind of want to join in, but eventually I settled on, I'm happy in the forest. I'm not necessarily looking to go as hard as I did my first year. Like my first year, I did 500,000 levels. The second year, I've not done as many. So I feel like if I was in Babel, I would have maybe been more motivated to keep going hard. But I just really want to take some time to slow down and just enjoy the game a bit.
As you should.
More casually.
Yeah.
And that's a question I want to ask you later, once we're doing your saga. But Crazy Fight, is there anything specific you want to ask about his timeline before we get into his awards?
No, I think that it's a perfect move into the rewards.
All right, so Ken, you're a highly decorated player in such a short amount of time, at least between the awards, right, back to back. And so you won Rookie of the Year in 2021. What was that? Were you even thinking about that, or did you even know that existed?
So I knew of the player awards because I've seen some of the previous awards on old player profiles. Like Pratt, I believe, is one example, best guild leader.
Oh, dude, that dude is just like hacking.
Yeah,
He's
yeah, 3 times in a row. But yeah, once it was announced, it was on the back of my mind. But I don't know what you mean by if I was thinking about it.
Like, was that a goal? Was that a goal
like
for
when
you?
did they announce awards and you're like, okay, I want to get this, best rookie or whatever, like, or was it just like, oh, nice, I won?
I think for me, it did flash the back of my mind, but it wasn't like I want this to happen thing, and I wasn't too obsessive about it. I guess I should say part of me kind of knew to some degree that I might get an award just because of the entrance I had in the game.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't ever want to be bragging or boastful about things, so yeah, when I got the award, it was a pleasant surprise, and I was pretty happy that people thought of me.
Yeah, but did you feel like, I don't know, you stood out into the community at that point? Besides your like rapid fire leveling, did that award make you feel, I don't know, any more significant than previous? Like, oh, like I belong here to an extent beyond what you already felt?
No, I would say for some time, not too long after I started being active, I felt like I'd already found my place in the community. Getting the award was definitely nice, but I think seeing the other people that got awards was even nicer. Just that to show like people get recognition, it kind of shows a degree of community, like looking and paying attention and all of that. So the award didn't do too much extra, I guess, for me. It's still really nice to have, I won't lie.
I see it on the cake. Yeah, that's what you meant. Don't hurt X-Spy's feelings, dude. He's fragile, and if Turian was like part of that, they're fragile. Okay, you gotta be careful. No, I'm just kidding. And so you get best player, rightfully so. And then last year, God, it's like literally
time flies.
Yeah,
3 days ago.
Really has.
So last year you win best gear / showcase. Was it just kind of like natural occurrence, or were you?
This one actually got me really giddy because I take a lot of pride in my showcase, I would say. And I think leading up to it, I was I guess I was thinking more higher of myself. I was thinking I might get nominated for best avatar. I thought that was most likely the category that I would win, just because a lot of people have been praising Rinyu's avatars, and I was happy to rock them for the better part of a year. So and also at the time I was thinking of other people's showcase. There was limits who would just drop a crazy amount and I love his showcase. Like, he has a lot of items that I don't have, and I'm a bit jealous of that. I've also thought of other players like Crisis. He's another pretty beautiful showcase. Punjo is another one I want to throw out. So for me at the time, I thought Avatar was like my best chance. The showcase ones will probably go to someone else. So when the awards were announced and then I won the showcase one, that one really made me happy, actually.
That's good. I mean, it was stiff competition. Like, it was, voting for that was tough. And I'm not a collector. I make fun of collectors all the time. But like, it was, I was like going through the profiles because I was trying to do my due diligence. Some I admit I was like, I'm gonna vote for Tio because I like Tio. I'm gonna vote for Cutie because I like Cutie. But for that part, I'm like, I like Limits. But let me check. And of course, I voted for Limits because he's my homie. But like, it was tough competition when you know. I remember when XPie was like, we're gonna release this on your stream. How's that? And I'm like, holy fuck, yeah. And
that was really
I remember,
cool.
yeah. And I was talking to you in globals, like, I'll let you know if you win. And then I was like, JK, but then you actually won. And I was like, oh shit, I better remember. But yeah, that was a cool moment for you, man. And now you two are a back-to-back, but you're a back-to-back in multiple categories. And I don't know if those rules will ever, change. Like, say, Pratt, you can't keep winning the same thing over and over. Because I know XY was talking about the process changing, right? But it's cool that you won 2 different categories. And some might say, maybe in your inner circle, they're excited to see what you get in 2023. But, again, like, it sounds more like a natural occurrence and through your time of the game. But, good on you.
Is there a category that you're interested in for 2023 that you're eyeing already, or are you just going with the
game? No, I think it's still kind of the same thing. I just want to hop in SMO whenever I feel like it. Just keep hanging out with the cool peeps. If I get another award, that'll be awesome. So yeah, I guess my answer is no. I'm not particularly expecting a certain award this coming year.
Yeah, okay. That's cool.
Yeah, unless XPie listens to my advice and is just like, they enter like the best RuneScape GF award. And it's you,
Cutie. I would be voting for Cutie at that
point. King Cows is another one. Everyone thinks they're, King Cows is a chicken global chat. But yeah, probably. I would vote for you. It's pretty tough because Cutie's like really like
Cutie sells it a lot better, I would say.
Yeah. So those are your awards. And I'd like to discuss just like some very easy questions that I've just have brewing in my mind.
Go for it.
And I just want to open up Crazy Fire. I'll drop the first one, but
okay.
We were talking about this offline. And it's however you want to frame it, but I'm just really interested in how many diamonds it took for you to get to monster status.
Yeah, so I wish I had a better breakdown or tracked it better so I could say specifically how many diamonds went towards leveling itself. I know that at the time of hitting 500,000, I had a total of 200,000 diamonds bought. And that's for like wasting on gold keys, getting gradients, selling on the market for gold, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But yes, as of 200K, I had bought 200,000 diamonds. And my current record shows 233,200 diamonds up to date. Yeah.
That is insane. That is just... Do you know if you are the number one in buying diamonds?
I've been told that there's been bigger whales than me, actually. So
really?
I think this is one of the things I'll humble brag. I'm pretty happy that I was more cost efficient with my spending and got like way further ahead. I understand back then when people were spending mad amounts of money, it was on like quest point farms and gold keys when they were kind of worth it. So yeah, and I guess I'll clarify this. I know people like to do the calculations and stuff, and they're like, "Can you give us a USD number?" And I think it's around the 17,000 ballpark range over 2 years.
Wow, that is.
It's a hobby, you could say.
Yeah.
It's like you either invest in SimpleMMO and become one of the biggest whales in game, or you buy Bitcoin and then you're at
why not do both?
So at least you chose something that wasn't zero.
And not to like try to justify it or defend myself about it. I think part of the reason why I also got really invested into the game and spent so much was during COVID. You stop going out, you stop hanging out, so all this extra savings just become even bigger savings. And then may or may not have been you said something about Bitcoin earlier, and that's all I'll say. So I just had extra play money, and then I was like, I can afford it. I wouldn't recommend anyone to spend the amount I have unless they could comfortably do so.
Isolated incident. Like you and Alucard are just like, you're doing your thing. You have the resources to do it. But stay free as long as you can. And if you have to get pleb, that's a good compromise, if you ask me.
So I do gotta ask, like, is this your first time being a whale in a game, or like have you done this before? Like,
no,
I just find being a whale fascinating.
No, Black Desert Online, as I said, was the game previous to SMO. I spent I think 2 years, 8 months in it, and an amount higher than SMO is all I'll share, but I won't share the figure.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
Maple Story is another one. I actually, growing up as a kid, I was like, I couldn't spend money on it, but I really loved the game. And then a few years later, once I was a bit more stable, I found my way back to it.
The haircuts,
ended up,
dude.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a cute game. I did have a lot of fun. I started to whale there for a bit too, but then keeping up with competition. When I was a kid, level cap was like 200, and by the time I came back, it was 275. I grinded all the way to 250, and then at that point, like one level took a month of grinding, and then I got to 252, and then I was like, I think I'm done. And the nostalgia is gone. It's a different game,
especially with like the pre-made classes, and it's kind of like it's turned into like turn your head off, and it's all automatic.
Right.
You can't, like, I remember playing Maple Story back with one of my best friends, Trung, who's also known by Guntrix when he's in chat. Like leveling up incorrectly and screwing yourself where you can't equip the next gear set, right?
Right.
And like that's kind of like how Maple Story used to be. Very like you really had to know what you were doing. If you're leveling your spearman, if you're leveling your your assassin, whatever, you don't want to do a level gap because you can't wear your pants, So now it's like me and my best friend, or one of my best friends, returned to it, and it was like, what the fuck am I doing?
Burning event, get to level 200 in like 3 days, and then do that for multiple characters, so your
on
main
rails
account is stronger. It's a very different game than what it used to be. I definitely liked it when it was simpler, and
oh, that's why. And that's another thing is like, a lot of players we talk to, Ubi's one of them, is like just like playing the traditional MMO and then finding SimpleMMO, and it's kind of like a sigh of relief because there's not that. I mean, you can create it for yourself if you're like knee deep in like the guild mentality and like the leaderboards, but like there's not that pressure of like, I'm gonna get behind, I won't get the raid gear, no one will want me in their party. Like there's none of that aspect here.
Yeah, and I guess I'll weigh in. I think just with other MMOs, like, it's sad to say, but pay to win is a lot more driven. Like, to keep up in Maple Story, you had to be spending hundreds on one gear piece, and then you have to do that for all 40 other gear pieces. In Black Desert Online, you had to constantly grind and maybe blow up your gear and go back to 0, and then just hate yourself for the next month of grinding. In SimpleMMO, there's no like negatives. Like, there's no pressure to try to get on top of anyone or anything.
You can have the same gear set for
I've had the same
years.
gear for basically my entire time, at least some pieces.
And like Maple Story is like Ices was a big milestone, and then Steelies, like because I ran assassin mainly. And it's like
in the day,
it's like, dude, I gotta like take a mortgage out, like I can't even get these fucking Steelies.
You see all the cool kids with the crystal ilbies, and then you're like,
those were the better days, dude.
They really were.
Back then, all you really had to do was buy a hair. You get the gift card, Nexon gift card, get the hairdo you want, and then that was it. Now it's but so I want to ask you now, so I've said this before, and mainly I've said it, I don't know if you've seen them, coffee streams. They're earlier streams. I try to do this with Ubi. He's like my main co-host for it.
Yeah.
And we talked about, because Alucard has said it on stream, the game needs endgame content. But then there's the argument where it's kind of like, yes, you're free to spend money, but at a point you kind of buy yourself out of the game. Like you're not on the same level as a normal player, at least for the ones we see every day. And so how is that with you? I know like you're different. You love BA, so it kind of doesn't affect you, but if you were, could you see it like maybe if you're more PvP focused or whatever, like there's not really end game content for someone who like fast tracks to the level you are.
Mm-hmm.
So what would keep? Is there anything that would keep you engaged? You know,
I guess it's gonna sound really like a cop out answer, and maybe not what you want to hear. Community, of course, first and foremost.
Stream's over. Goodbye.
I just can't get tired of, and I think to answer your question a bit more directly, I've thought about this for some time, and I think with just the direction that Mike wants to bring the game or keep the game, will just never align with what the players think needs to be in an MMO. Because Mike has explicitly stated multiple times now that the reason the game is as it is because he wants to keep simplicity in it. I know there's a lot of cool ideas, like, you know, enhancing gear or like better gold sinks and all of that. But I think with just how the structure of the game is currently, it might be too radical of a change to for Mike to implement. / he doesn't want to implement it.
Yeah, Paizo and I have been talking about that this week, about the expectations of SimpleMMO versus traditional MMOs and stuff like that. And so we plan on having a stream about that on Thursday, actually.
Yeah,
so
quick plug.
So
Alec is going to be joining us Thursday. We're going to be discussing traditional MMO, aspects of traditional MMOs and the expectations, how they leach over to SimpleMMO, and how realistic or unrealistic that is. But again, that's this Thursday. It's going to be good. Alec he's on point with this topic. It's always, you buy yourself out of the like normal crowd, so to speak. And it's like, if you don't have the community attachment, if you don't keep yourself entertained, right? If you don't have your own niche, if you're not a collector, if you're not a BA whore, whatever you label yourself. I think you said that earlier in the stream. It's almost like you're there. You kind of crossed the finish line, right?
So I think you could say that. And the reason I keep saying community, everyone keeps asking me level 1 mil when. There was actually a point in time where I was kind of like, there's really no point. And then I can get to it, but I don't know if it'll bring me a satisfaction. And then after some time, I actually, when Battle Arena was updated, and then when Mike changed it to instantly spawn the next one, I found that my love for BA kind of resparked, like, very heavy. And then I was like, you know what? I can make it a point that I'll still slowly get there. And I think it's not to get there just to brag about it. I think it's just because a lot of people want to see it, and I think I want to make it happen for them.
So when do you think you'll hit 1 mil? Do you have it projected out, or you'll get there when you get there?
I've had this rough sort of estimate once I got more serious about it. I actually want to mention, I think I'm a bit behind schedule because I won't mention the other game, but recently I've been playing this other game because of another SMO player actually. So I got sidetracked.
Did you get a referral code?
No, I actually played the game a while back and then just came back, so my account was like old but noob. But to answer your question, Crazy Fi, I was hoping to hit 750,000 before my 2-year birthday, which would be March 1st.
Okay.
And then from there, at latest, I'm hoping to hit 1 million before my 3-year birthday. And if I did my previous accelerated pace, I was thinking around September, but I'm not too sure at this time.
Okay.
God, just like that's a huge chunk of time if you compare it to Simple MMO.
That's wild. Good luck.
Is there anything outside of the 1 mil that you're looking forward to do this year, or are you just kind of like you're chilling?
As much as everyone talks down on events because they're the same format every time, and this goes back to the showcase thing. I do like collecting the event items, so I do like to keep playing around for the events, get them added to the showcase. Seeing more artist work, that's actually another thing that I really love about the community. When people get a new avatar and the excitement when they share it, I always love that. So getting more avatars myself, seeing other avatars, more artists, things like that, those are the other kind of things that keep me in the game besides my obsession with Battle Arena.
hypothetically, if CouchCat did a community event, would you be a part of it?
Absolutely. I'd love to, as long as anything I could get more involved with community, I think would be a cool, fun thing.
Yeah, that's just hypothetical. There's no leaks here, everyone.
Okay. Yeah.
There's no leaks here. Crazy is like, please don't.
don't put a date on that just yet. Hold on now. Hold on.
Hey, how's the weather over there, kid? Is it looking pretty good?
Hold on.
It's actually kind of cold today. I'm very cold right now.
Nice one. So yeah. The stream's winding down. I just want to give chat. I should have done this earlier. I don't know. You guys never pay attention, but like, if you have any questions for Kin, just at CouchCat and post it. And Crazy Fi and I will keep track. And we have some time left. We'll take questions from chat. I know the one question I saw earlier. Actually, there's two. One is from Fluffy Werewolf, and Fluffy Werewolf was saying, "Is there any time, Kin, where you leaked EP?"
Yeah, when I was inactive, I guess. Yeah, sometimes I would still come in and do my stuff, but there would be some days where I would end the day and I'd need a refill, but not actually burn too much EP, and then it would just be sitting there, and then I didn't really mind. It doesn't bother me too much. QP, I leak all the time. Like, I think I have 100 QP points up right now, and I don't really care for clicking those away.
I love QP, dude. It's so cathartic. And the second question I saw, Ubi was asking who your favorite staffer is.
Oh, wow, this is my favorite staffer. This is hard. I don't want to cop out and be like all of them, but if I had to choose one, I would say, and not because he asked, Ubi. He's been doing the community event art for a long time. He's a really cool fellow. I've caught him in a voice chat a few times. He's just a fun guy to be around.
I don't trust you.
And I say that because I've never really interacted directly with other mods or staff, or not too many staff in voice chats. So Ubi, first and foremost, would come to mind. A close second, I would say SimpleMMO. I absolutely adore him.
That's I think I've seen Salami talk like 3 times in my whole SimpleMMO career.
What?
Yeah.
SimpleMMO was talking to us before.
Yeah, they've chat, but like before that, like naturally, like I never see in global. There's a lot of people I never see in global, so and that's just on me. Like I'm active.
Not in global.
A lot of these questions are just demonetizable. Okay, there's one.
I got a question.
Oh yeah, you go first, Crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, you've been playing the game a lot. All right. Is there a piece of the game that you wish would be taken out, changed, or is there something you've been added? The cop-out answer is crafting, but we're getting to that. No. So
you see, that was my main thing. I hated crafting. I was like, this is so terrible. Like,
who loved it? I don't think.
Yeah. And I never intended to actually do crafting, but then I was like, oh, you can craft diamond bags.
Yeah.
And then I thought it would be fun to, since we couldn't trade them, just dump them so other players could find them. So the only reason I ever involved myself with crafting is to craft diamond bags for other people to find. So yeah, that's my cop-out answer there.
So all right, then what do you think of, have you read the blog at all?
I did read it. I am interested. I lurked other people's opinions. People are bringing up, oh, it's going to be EP cost, oh, old materials are going to be useless.
Right.
I think it's one of those things where in a lot of other games too, communities will always make an uproar before like the update hits, and when an update hits, they'll continue to have an uproar while things might still be getting adjusted. So I want to give Mike the benefit of the doubt. I think it's awesome that he was transparent about it. He said he hated crafting as well. He wanted to do something. I don't know how I personally would have revamped it, so I am all open to however Mike sees to try to reintroduce it.
Yeah,
I just love how Yomu sorry, dude. I was just gonna say Yomu, like I don't know if he leaked it or he was just being insightful, but he said, like crafting it's gonna need to be its own thing. There's no way you can build upon it with like, say, how Mike mentions his blog post about the materials and like scrapping that shit. It's all useless now. Yomu kind of like just said it matter of factly, like it's got to be its own thing. It's got to feed into something else. It can't be attached to the past. And people, I mean, not everyone watches the streams, like barely anyone, but it's like, but and then he's right, and it's kind of like people are still kind of holding on to the, don't change it, like make it better, but also don't like take away what's already been like attached to it in the beginning. But now it's going to be this whole different thing. So
yeah, I mean, after a quick read through and of the basic mechanics, I think I'm personally a fan currently. I think
currently,
yeah, we'll see how it goes when it's implemented. I think it's cool that we'll be able to craft celestial/exotic items, and I'm a sucker for RNG. So the fact that we won't be crafting a new like set list of items and it's just going to be more RNG, I'm a sucker for that. So
it's awful. Yeah. It's like gambling. I've never been in a game where
it is 100% gambling.
Yeah, like generally when you craft, like Crazy Fight, we play ESO, we played everything together. Like you know what you're crafting.
New
like,
World,
New World. New World. Like you knew what the ingredients, and you knew exactly your goal. Now it's like, I can craft up to this tier, but it's like it could be a celestial stick. You know what I mean? Like
I like that but I mean, that's a whole nother topic. We're going to go down if we do this.
Yeah. No, I will say crafting.
No. Currently, James had a question. How much gold can you get from a step or a step NPC at Mad?
Okay, so currently for everyone starts at 2.5 times multiplier against their level on max drop for NPCs. At 100k, it drops down to 1.7 times that. So currently, I get around almost 1.2 mil max. And to give a better number, I guess on average, per 1,000 steps in Everwinter I make 145 million gold.
Holy crap! So you alone could really mess up the market.
You see, people, I understand that I could, and people say that, but I'd also like to point out that QP farmers were a thing for a lot longer. Their entry point was a lot cheaper. They didn't have to get 700,000 levels, and they send out a knight, which is one button. If I want to make my gold, I still have to...
Freaking dill, dude.
If I want to make my gold, I still have to, step.
That's fair. That's fair.
Dude, that just blows my... No wonder why you're, like, doing the orphanage all the time. Like...
not all the time.
Okay, I've seen you a couple of times. That's more than me, okay?
Fair.
Dude, that's insane. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, I would like run out of things. I guess I too would be commissioning for like 1,000 Tiger avatars just to see what that's like to be like Tiger and roleplay.
Yeah.
Nah, probably not. You couldn't give me enough money to do that shit. I can't. I love Tiger, but there's no way you can make me do that.
They're very dedicated to their character. I respect.
They sure are. Yeah.
So I saw T.O. mentioning something about the party leak with you.
Oh, I want to throw out now that I have been kind of reading chat. I'm very flattered and happy to see everyone. I'm sorry if I wasn't able to address anyone directly. I did see that T.O. thing. So T.O. actually, before step parties became a thing, he invited me to a step party, but he wasn't supposed to. I think advisors and mods get like a different version of the game, and if they might want to test something, they get it. So he sent me an invite. I was like, what is this? I tried to click it, I couldn't join. I took a screenshot and then put in the forest, and then I was like, oh.
Oh no.
So, yeah.
T.O. didn't warn you? He was just like...
No, I don't know if T.O. thought of it at the time. I don't know. I didn't even think about it as a leak until maybe this very moment.
Till it happened?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so, yeah.
God dang it, T.O. Dude, Crazy Fight, it's just like that Psych episode where it's like, you did it? You were the one that leaked?
Yeah.
It seems like chat's finding out for the first time, too.
Surprise.
Right.
That's funny. Crazy Fight, do you want to ask him the final question that you ask all of our guests about How do you forget your one question?
About the what? I literally already asked it. If you what's
the removal? Question? The removal. Yeah, what would you take away from the game?
Yeah, he said crafting. We just had a whole crafting.
Yeah, we.
Oh, I'm so sorry, dude.
Bro,
I thought that was just a crafting specific question.
Holy crap!
I'm totally here and present.
Absolutely, huh?
Oh, I mean, does that count though? Can you really do that when it's about to get
that's why I
shit
said it was a
canned?
If I could
answer.
remove okay, if you don't want a cop out answer, if I
don't want a
remove
cop out
something
answer.
else from the game, I would remove the orphanage. I think it's annoying
Really?
sometimes how people want the orphanage buff to be popped. I think it's a good gold sink, but honestly, whenever orphans up, I never get anything good from my keys, and I never find anything in travel stepping. So maybe it's just a bit of salt and a bit of hatred for the orphans. But I would remove that.
That's fair.
That's fair. One less thing to spend money on.
I say let them starve.
You know, when like Trevor makes jokes about orphans, it's like really edgy because he's like, you know, a kid, and it's like, maybe that's not going to age well.
Oh, I think I was doing so well, but now I'm seeing cancel Ken. Maybe
yeah.
But when you say it, Ken, it's very stable.
Oh, I saw all this talk about wholesomeness and my voice, and I'm very flattered, everyone.
Yeah, I gotta say, it is absolutely insane. It seems like every guest host that we have, their voice is smooth or perfect. Like, you guys, I don't know how you guys are like. I just want one guest host who's got a shitty voice, please.
Coming from you guys sound pretty nice yourselves. So
thank you.
I appreciate it.
It's the only compliment we get.
Yeah.
I feel like King got more love in our stream than we do on a regular basis. It was just like ILY Ken, and I was like, oh Jesus Christ, I'm not feeling pure today. Okay, now I'm just kidding. But that is the stream. We're hitting our time here. And before we do the whole outro thing, Ken, again, just thanks for coming on. Thanks for being an awesome sport and doing this with us. I had a great time. Crazy Five probably had a great time.
Yeah,
I know his webcam kept cutting out. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah,
Chat had a good time.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
I had a lot of fun. Thank you again for having me, and thank you everyone in chat for being here. Everyone's throwing the ILLYs, so I love you all back. And
pressured into loving you.
Not pressured. You guys are great. The community is awesome, and I think the last thing I want to say is remember to drink water.
Fair enough.
Keeban, don't react to that. Keeban always does that shit. Okay. Thank you, Ken, for the kind words. And we'll see you in the future. See you in the future.
Thanks, guys. Have a great evening, everyone.
Yep. Chat, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. We hope you enjoyed this loosey-goosey interview we have with Ken here. They're pretty much all loosey-goosey. So it was a good time. We saw a couple of new faces tonight, and we welcome you to the stream, and we hope to see you Thursday, 7 p.m. US Eastern. Again, we'll be discussing with Alec traditional MMO expectations and how they bleed over to SimpleMMO, if they're realistic or not. It's going to be a good debate. We have a forum post in our Discord with this very topic. So if that interests you, if you want to have input for the stream, highly encourage you to go to our Discord server. If you haven't joined, there's a link down in the description. There's a link in-game under the community tab. You click podcast, even though not really a podcast, and then you click the Discord hyperlink. Find that form, post your thoughts, and we'll read them to the stream. We'll read them to chat, and we're looking forward to it. But yeah, that's all we got.
Real fast, I do want to give a shout out to Ace Golden Shot. Ace he donated $25 yesterday, so I just want to give a shout out to him. Really appreciate you, Ace. Thank you for the support.
Yeah, thank you for the cup of coffee. That's a lot of cup of coffees. That's going to keep me real. I'll be peeing every 5 minutes, but thank you, Ace. Always a homie. And he said, haven't donated in a while. Love you guys. So thank you. Thank you, Ace. That's really it. And of course, there's one more thing. Thursday, we're having a giveaway. It's a one-of-a-kind item crafted and added to the game by T.O. himself. So if you're a huge fan of T.O. and you're a fan of us, is the T.O. X Couch Cat item. And there's only going to be one of a kind. So Thursday we'll announce the giveaway. It'll be in our Discord server, and good luck to everyone. So if you're interested, again, we'll be going over that Thursday. But that's all I got. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Crazy Five, for that
Thanks,
remembrance.
guys.
Yep. Like, subscribe, head on over to couchguypod.com for more SimpleMMO content, and we'll see you next time, friends. Peace out.
See ya.
Bye.
Any